Hello everybody, this is Cheeseburger Jesus, and welcome to Without Within, a game that I have found on Steam. Venti, 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 Venti! The chants of my fans echoed through the door in front of me. One of my two bodyguards wrapped his hands around the doorknob. Please prepare yourself, Miss Venti. Once I open this door, we'll head straight for our limo. The guard had no reason to fret. I had long since grown used to these crowds. I still nodded to put him at ease. After taking a deep breath, he pushed open the door. A crowd of hundreds raised their cameras as soon as I stepped out. My guards waved their arms to shoo them away. This red carpet was for me to walk on, after all. I blew a kiss for these starstruck presents. Miss Venti, please let us hurry, my bodyguard said. Too bad for him, I strutted along like a model on a catwalk. A group of reporters managed to worm through the crowd. They now tiptoed over my guards in hopes of scoring that exclusive. Venti, how does it feel to have won another Calligrapher of the Year award? A reporter asked me. Before I could answer, another dozen people shouted over each other, hoping for my attention. Venti, may I get a photo with you? Do you sign some autographs for my kids? And two for me, of course. I can't believe I'm standing this close! My fans stamped their dirty shoes all over the red carpet. Finally, my bodyguards pulled out of their pepper sprays to keep these fans in check. A young male reached in my general direction despite having a spray aimed at his face. Rather admirable for a peasant. I extended a hand for this male fan to kiss. Unfortunately for him, he fainted at the sight of my perfectly polished nails. I reached my limousine at last. My bodyguard opened the door for me, and as I climbed in, my trailing fans snapped as many photos as they could. Miss Venti, Miss Venti! The crowd chanted as my car window pulled up. How odd. They never referred to me as a miss. Oh, my graceful presence must have been too much for their sanity, these poor things. Miss Venti, Miss Venti! Yeah, this is about realistic to life. Oh. Well, I had fun while it lasted. At least I got to ride in a limousine for a good 30 seconds. In real life, my only registered vehicle was, well, my 10-year-old bicycle. My apartment had no space for a car anyway. Actually, this single room with cracked walls might be an insult to the word apartment. Pull up those curtains for a spectacular $1 view featuring a sewage pipe and a wall tainted with yellow. Just open the window if you wish to smell sewage as well. A breathtaking experience. By the way, sorry, I needed to take back the one-room thing. This place actually had 2 rooms, thank you very much. The second room happened to be a toilet. I still counted, right? Toilet clogged 3 times a month, so be careful when using it. Miss Venti, Miss Venti! A woman's voice echoed from outside. She was no fan, but rather my landlady. Glanced over at my clock, 6 a.m. Waiting another hour or two might have been nice. Probably just wanted to tell me about another rent rise. Nothing good ever came out of that woman's mouth. I'm better off staying in bed. Let's save. I have no idea what this is. Rise and shine. Coming! As I changed into something more appropriate, the landlady still kept knocking. Said I was coming, did I not? Maybe I should walk out naked if that was what she dug. If this were a game, we might get a sale boost too. Good morning, Miss Venti, the landlady said. I must ask, what's with your hair? It looks like you just woke up. That's because I did. It's a waste for young ladies like you to sleep away your youth, the landlady shook her head. She had no right to preach me like this. I wanted to tell her, but decided against it, as doing so would give her an excuse to lecture me further. With her size, if I enraged her, she would squash me into a Venti-flavored pancake. Miss Venti, your rent was due 3 days ago. Oh. Well, at least there was no rent increase. Sorry, madam. My next paycheck will come after tonight's shift, so I'll pay you first thing tomorrow morning. The landlady grunted. Alright, just know that if this keeps up, you'll have to find somewhere else to live. She spun around to leave. When she disappeared around the corner, I kicked my door shut, causing a piece of my cracked wall to fall off. I tried to shove the piece back into place. My effort resulted in more fragments flaking off. I love this music. Great, the landlady would make me pay for that next month. Once I became an accomplished calligrapher, she would beg for a chance to shine my shoe. Hey, I sounded a bit ranty before, but this was never my intention. A lot of famous people had humble beginnings. I would follow in their footsteps, but first I needed to put in the work. Okay, so this game has a lot of bad reviews for this particular reason, that the character's full of themselves. I kind of find it humorous, though. So I turned to the busiest street in my area. With my calligraphs spread before me, I sat on the concrete and rested my back against the fence. Car horns blared behind me, mixed with people shouting things about each other's mothers. These cars kept expelling fumes that made me choke. Just one of the many things I dealt with in the name of art. Pedestrians took up almost every inch of space on the street ahead. Surely this would be the day when somebody spotted my talent. As always, no one afforded me anything more than a passing glance, and my will soon dwindled. Let me be honest, I never expected to be showered with praise by every head who passed here. What was the old saying, 10% of the people you reach out to will buy your work? I could live with that. Even just 1%, please, anything but 0. I wanted to scream at these people. They had no idea how much sweat I poured into these calligraphs. Let's persevere. I decided to keep these displeasures to myself. People often said patience would be rewarded. I wonder if my patience would ever become worthwhile. Just as I thought this, a man paused to look at my calligraphs. He had a bucket of fried chicken in his hand. The smell made my mouth water. As the man eyed my works one by one, I felt my cheeks heating up with anticipation. At last, someone who spared more than a moment with my works. This must be my reward. The time could hardly be more perfect. I summoned the courage to speak to the man, but he spoke first. You're charging for these? I managed a tiny nod. The man snorted. I would never hang any of these on my wall if you gave them to me for free. Seriously, this is the most shameless display I've ever seen. Trolls online were one thing. Confronting one in real life was a rarity. Judging from the man's scrawny arms, I bet I could overcome him with ease. Then he would know just how big of a blunder he had made. I don't know. I'm doing a small play anyways, so let's attack! I crunched up one of my calligraphs and rose. The man must have sensed my violent intent, as he backed a step and shielded his face with a bucket of chicken. I threw a punch at him before he could flee into the crowd. My fist connected with the side of his head. That marked the first time I'd ever hit someone. My knuckles hurt from the blow, but seeing the guy's dropped jaw made it worthwhile. Probably grew up this way because nobody ever dared to punish him. A couple of pedestrians popped in and held me back from attacking the man further. I squirmed against their grips, but gave up as my anger waned. Once my breathing returned to normal, the civilians loosened their hold, and I brushed myself free. I'll remember this. The man fled for the train station, eating another piece of chicken as he did so. Next morning, someone knocked on my door. I checked the clock, 5 a.m. When would the landlady cut me a break? Miss Venti, it's the police. I cupped a hand over my mouth, as if keeping quiet would make the police go away. They must be here to ask about my assault yesterday. That guy I punched was nothing to talk but talk. Should have let him ramble. God knew that he would befall me now. I prayed I would at least be spared jail sentence. Tears struck down my cheeks as I buried myself under the blanket. This had to be nothing more than a bad dream. I got the bad end. Now let's restrain. Folks always said to ignore trolls. I clenched my teeth and stayed put. After chuckling in my face, the man strutted off. Determined to prove him wrong, I continued to sit and wait for potential customers. I wish I could talk with correct English sometimes. I keep messing up talking. Oh well. Another 1,000 people walked by without sparing me a look. Lingering here any longer would be a waste of time. As I packed my things, I insisted I was leaving because my part-time job started in an hour. Deep inside, I knew that man's words had rocked my confidence. Giving up on calligraphy. I've probably been saying it wrong this entire video. Would mean I had wasted all this time over nothing. Yet, if I lacked the gift, persevering might make things worse. Tears welled in my eyes, and I clenched my fists to hold them back. Speaking of tears, I heard a kid crying within the crowd. It looked like we had a lost child on our hands. Some pedestrians shot him glances, but none of them offered more than that. These really were horrible people. To cheer myself up, I told myself I would never want my calligraphs to be owned by people like that. I should help the kid. That would mean being late to my job. Let's be the better person. If I judged others for abandoning a child, then I did the same myself. I'd be a jerk and a hypocrite. With a sigh, I walked up to the boy. There. It's okay. Did you lose Mommy? The boy was sobbing too hard to answer. I leaned in to stroke his back with one hand and his head with the other. Let me know if you lost Mommy, okay? I'll help you find her, so there's no need to be scared. The kid managed to nod at last, and I whispered good boy into his ear. What's your mom's name? Hungry. Her name is Hungry? The boy's tummy growled, and I realized what he meant. Oh, well, how about I buy you a sandwich? The boy shook his head. I want ice cream. Hey, kid. Ice cream is more of a dessert, actually. I want ice cream. And so ice cream it was. One for him and none for me. The money came out of my pocket, of course. My poor wallet. At least this kid would have eaten the whole thing rather than let half of it melt on his shirt. Jessie, the boy said. That's my mama's name. Jessie, I called as I strode along the street. Now people stared at me more than ever. Enough to make me blush, in fact. Maybe I should try shouting Jessie at random next time I sold my collagraphs. The sky turned orange as time ticked by. Yes, I knew my shift started half an hour ago. Stop reminding me. A woman wheezed through the crowd and scurried toward us. She ran past a red light, nearly getting hit by a truck in the process. Mommy! The boy shook free of my hold and rushed into his mother's embrace. After muttering apologies to her son, the woman gazed towards me. Thank you so much for your help. You're wonderful. Just wonderful. The torrent of praises curled my lips into a stupid grin. Anyone would have done the same. Please, if there's anything I can do in return, just let me know. Actually, there's something I need help with. Anything in my power, miss. Which way back to the train station? Alright. The sky had gone dark by the time I arrived at work. I opened the restaurant door gingerly to avoid making any noise. Stealth mode switched on. They called me Ninja Venti for a reason. Miss Venti! The voice of my boss nearly made me jump onto the ceiling fan. Sorry, I'm late. I wanted to explain, but my boss glared at me, and my tongue slurred out a bunch of syllables. My explanation was in there somewhere, probably, maybe. I received an earful from my boss, but at least I got to keep my job. Several colleagues shot me frowns for not being there during such a busy period. In the end, I took all the blame without complaint. Well, at one point, I locked myself in the toilet and screamed into the bowl. I also might or might not have fantasized about dunking my workmates' heads into the toilet. That was for me alone to know, though. At least I earned the paycheck needed to keep my landlady quiet for another month. As for the month after that, we would see when that time came. All I wanted was to pursue my art, but reality kept pressuring me toward finding a second job. On my way home, I spotted a banner for an upcoming visual novel named Princess Aria. The game had long been hyped on every forum I knew. Amazing art along with the cast of famous voice actors. The writer and composer were big names too. For Princess Aria to have an ad this big, they must have a lot of money behind the project. The way this banner hung high gave me the sense it was extra important. Bright lights shone on the princess's face to impress potential players. Yes, that was what I really needed. If I had a banner like that, no doubt people would line up to buy my calligraphy. I could already imagine how folks would react as I walked along the streets. Hey, I think that was Venti. Wow, no way. You mean that famous calligrapher I see on all those banners? Yeah, she must be really good. Maybe we should ask for her autograph. My agent would then step in to speak on my behalf. Please line up in an orderly fashion. How much for an autograph? Shut up and take my money! My agent nodded in response. Autographs are available for $100. Thanks. That'd be $100. Thanks, the game shop's owner said. Princess Aria cost twice what I had predicted. If I bought the game, I would have too little for rent. I opened my wallet, hoping I might have more cash on hand than I realized. It turned out I had less, actually. I hung my head, and the storekeeper sighed. His arched brows pressured me into buying a game. I did ride 3 trains to get here. Might as well pick up something. I told the shopkeeper how much money I had, and he shook his head. The store owner pulled out a different game from under his table. He brushed away the dust on it so I could see the cover. The title read, Sunflower War, some visual novel about the battlefield. Copyright in 1997. No wonder it was so cheap. Art by Invert Mouse, whoever the heck that was. Front cover would fit perfectly in a kindergarten classroom. I flipped the case to see what was highlighted on the back. The game supported up to 640 by 480 resolution. Truly the pinnacle of technology. The shopkeeper grimaced. He must have sensed I wanted to say no. His stare made my palms stain with sweat, and I ended up buying the game. Dealing with folks like that had always been a weakness of mine. Remind me to never visit this store again. With heavy strides, I returned to my apartment. 0 calligraphy sales, late for work, and with rent topped off by blowing cash on some game I had no interest in. What I really wanted to play was Princess Adia. Forcing myself to suffer anything else would just upset me further. Let's just go ahead and sleep. Forget it, I only bought Sunflower War out of pressure. After shoving the game into my bin, I crawled into bed. For the next few weeks, I tried over and over to sell my calligraphs, but all the works remained untouched. Well, aside from a few pedestrians who stepped on them by mistake. Wait, my bad. I did make one sale. This one guy said he needed my calligraphy to use as toilet paper. I had 0 passion left for calligraphy. In fact, just thinking about it fueled me with anger. This was no longer the career for me. Today I chose to retire for good. Dang it, I got a bad end. One last try, we're gonna play. I did spend money on Sunflower War. Might as well give it a go. The day left me pretty drained, so this relic of a game would do a good job putting me to sleep. Switched on my laptop and inserted the disc, which I partly hoped would fail to load from old age. Too bad it worked just fine. No doubt a lot of people were loving Princess Adia right now. Meanwhile, here I was, enjoying this 640 by 480 godsend. No voice acting either. These illustrations look like they were done by a child. I would be better off closing my eyes and imagining my own artworks. The grass reached up to our knees. As I read along, I painted an image of the scene in my head. The plants rustled as we waded through. We paused once every few steps, fearing there might be snakes hiding among the bushes. Somehow we managed to survive the evening. The sun surged from beyond the horizon, outlining the earth with an orange glow. Slowly, the blue sky emerged and vanquished the darkness that had haunted us. As light bathed the soil, I found myself in a field of sunflowers. I had imagined this place to look far more terrifying, but anxiety had merely been playing tricks on me. I drew a deep breath to savor the morning fragrance. In the distance, birds chirped as if applauding our survival. I could see it. Not only that, but touch, hear, and smell too. An experience crafted by my own imagination. The imagination rivaled the strokes of any artist, and it belonged to me alone. This fulfillment inspired me to take things further. The blasts of gunfire deafened us as we dove behind the wall. The bullet whizzed past the tip of my helmet. Sam had passed his helmet onto me with her dying breath. I would carry on her legacy. The desert heat pinched sweat out from every pore. Desperately wanted to empty this water bottle down my throat, but with no hope in sight, I must conserve every drop. Joe's eyes closed, this time never to reopen. Despite our promise to survive together, only I managed to live. How I wished I could take her place. I finished reading Sunflower War, right as the clock struck 3 a.m. How so many people had missed this classic left me dumbfounded. Actually, this would be a lie, as if I too had every intention of tossing this game aside. I kept demanding excitement without offering an ounce of passion in return. If I played my part, I might be able to discover so much more. As Sunflower War's credits rolled, I realized just how small the development studio was. The team probably knew they stood no chance against bigger studios, yet they still did their best with dated technologies to deliver a vision they believed in. The happiness they felt when working on the project poured out of every line of this game. I could gaze right into their heart, thing I had long neglected. Mommy? Daddy? Vinci, what is it, darling? Look, it's my calligraphy. Honey, it's calligraphy. But that's great. I think you have a lot of talent. This is so much fun. I want to become a calligrapher. I had forgotten the last time I found joy in calligraphy. Every stroke these days felt like a grocery chore. All I obsessed over was how much, or rather how little, people paid attention to my efforts. My works no longer possessed heart, and I failed to notice it. Time to do something about that. I could hardly wait to start. After all, I chose this path because I loved it. The next day, I ventured outside with a new set of calligraphies. Though I made no sales thus far, I still found myself beaming. That might explain why some people smiled back. Perhaps it was the weather, but I swore everyone felt warmer today. Mommy, there she is, the ice cream lady. The boy dragged his mother in my direction. It was the kid I had helped out yesterday. The mother and I exchanged nods. Honey, The lady has a name. It's rude to call her the ice cream lady. What's her name then? Oh my, well, sorry, what is it? It's Venti. The mother slapped her boy on the back. See? Her name is Miss Venti. Mommy, can we buy one of those doodles from the ice cream lady? Doodle must be another word for top of the line calligraphy. Another explanation could restrain me from shaking my brain out of this boy. Or shaking the brain out of this boy. My name was nowhere inside that little brain anyway. The mother checked her wallet and her face scrunched up the way mine often did. All good, madam. I knew how it felt to be living on the edge of being homeless. Please, 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 the boy nagged on. This showed why I would never have kids. The mother relented at last and bought one of my works. Guessed the boy wanted to repay my kindness. I gave his hair a ruffle as thanks. After flashing his missing tooth with a grin, he pulled his mother back into the crowd. Well, at least I scored better marks than yesterday. Another man strolled toward me. Wow, I was on a roll now. With a heart on my side, my fame and fortune had arrived. Clean my shoes, peasants. Hey, it's you again, the man said. Oh, a troll from yesterday. Call into my thoughts to avoid causing a scene. Maybe the guy came here to apologize. Even a creep like him must know how rude he had been. Yes, my aura had cleansed him of all evil thoughts. Go on, empty your wallet at me. Well, empty your wallet at my greatness. Wow, these new scribbles are even worse than the ones you brought last time. Somehow, I had turned into an internet celebrity. Top comment. Snap! Wow, she went full crazy. Triangle mouth at 07 Illuminati. She'd be like, why you no buy? More like this might be a good time to look for that second job. Thanks for playing. Huh. It's honestly not where I was expecting it to go. But, it went places. Considering the fact this is free, like, there are definitely some higher quality free stuff out there, but this is free and also apparently it's 5 years old. So I'd say it's a lot better than I could do. But anyways, this is Cheeseburger Jesus signing out. Bye-bye!